Hello, this is Austin with Josh's Frogs, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my choice for the top 3 beginner frogs that aren't a dart frog. So first, we have the Pac-man frog. Pac-man frog is a great beginner frog because it has a very minimalistic setup. There's not a lot of bells and whistles that goes into keeping your Pac-man frog. All you need essentially is a 10-gallon aquarium. You need some dirt, preferably cocoa fiber or peat moss or a mix of that. If you want to be fancy, you can also get Josh's Frogs bioactive Pac-man frog substrate. Now, the thing about Pac-man frogs is they are aggressive, and so they are more of a look-at pet. The most fun that you will have keeping a Pac-man frog is in the multiple times a week feeding process of the Pac-man frog. Pac-man frogs get their name because of their ability to basically flip open their entire body, which is a mouth, and then they engulf whatever is moving in front of them. Here we have one of the morphs of a Pac-man frog. This is an apricot Pac-man frog. Apricot because it has a lot of yellows and oranges on it. Whoever decided to name all of the different morphs of Pac-man frogs thought that they should all be named after different types of fruit or food. So this is an apricot Pac-man frog. There's strawberry pineapple, there's matcha, there's coffee. Speaking of matcha, we have a matcha right here. This is a matcha Pac-man frog. You can see it has a very nice green coloration. He is inflating because he thinks that I am trying to eat him, but I am not. Don't worry, little guy, I'm not going to eat you. When he exhales all of that air though, he probably will make a noise. So Pac-man frogs typically, in an enclosure, will just bury themselves in their dirt and wait for food to walk by. Another thing that's important for a Pac-man frog is to provide a water dish so that they can soak and stay hydrated. You can also give them hides to hide under and leaf litter as well. Yeah, there you go. But you're okay, everything's fine. Next up, we have the fire-bellied toads. Fire-bellied toads are something that you probably saw if you were a 90s kid in your local Petco or PetSmart. These frogs were very popular because of their ease of care. You can keep them in a regular bioactive enclosure or one that has like cocoa fiber covered in sphagnum with a fairly large water dish. These frogs are semi-aquatic, and so if you want, you can keep them in a tank that is just water. You do want to make sure that you have adequate filtration or you're doing water changes very regularly because they will poop a lot. These frogs, because they live mostly in water, are fairly forgiving as far as humidity goes. That's something that you don't really need to worry about when keeping a fire-bellied toad in an aquatic setup. These guys are very small, but as adults they can reach about 2.5 inches. And they vary in coloration. We have seen bright green, some more on the brown side with a little bit of green interspersed, and then some that are kind of an intermediate. We have some that they have this nice green on their back, but on the sides is more of a little bronzy coloration. They get their name from the coloration on their bellies though. So fire-belly, in the wild, fire-bellies have bright red on their bellies instead of this yellow or cream color. Because of the different things that we feed the tadpoles and the adults in their diet than what they would be getting in the wild, you don't typically see red on the bellies or even orange. That coloration is very specific to wild-caught frogs, which you are not going to be able to find because the countries that used to export fire-bellied toads no longer export fire-bellied toads. It's possible that it's due to loss of habitat, and another big reason is because these guys are asymptomatic carriers of the chytrid fungus, and so they were being brought over and spreading that around in pet stores and causing issues with other frogs, but these guys were totally fine. And once they figured out that that was happening, most pet stores didn't want to work with them anymore. Next up, we have probably the most popular frog that we work with in the tree frog and toad department, and that would be the White's tree frog. White's tree frogs are from Australia. They are big and dopey tree frogs. These are both adults. White's tree frogs are a great first pet. These guys are very, very hardy. Being from Australia, they have to deal with a lot of variation in temperature, and the range in Australia from where you can find them is very, very large. But for the most part, they hang out on the east coast and up into the northern parts, getting up into Darwin, and also you can find them in Indonesia. White's tree frogs have a tendency to be a lot hardier when it comes to drying out. They can take it down into like the 30% humidity range, but they are happiest in the 50 to 70% humidity range. You can set these guys up just like you would a red-eyed tree frog or a dart frog, but you want to make sure that they have adequate ventilation. Stagnant air can lead to infection with these. White's tree frogs are also great eaters. They love to eat crickets, they love to eat roaches. If you wiggle your fingers in front of them occasionally, they'll try to eat those as well. It is advantageous for them to strike at basically anything that moves in front of them so that they get enough food. And that is a holdover from them living their lives in the wild. But a very entertaining frog to watch, and a very fun first frog for basically everybody. If any of the frogs that I have shown you today, Pac-man frogs, fire-bellied toads, or White's tree frogs, have piqued your interest, we have plenty of other information on how to care for them in YouTube videos and also blogs on our website. Visit us at joshsfrogs.com, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.